Yeah, morning, Tracer. We've seen equity markets fire up once again. Really strong for a three-day gain coming through the Nasdaq and the S&P. We've got the S&P closing on the highs of the day, is 5180. Very, very strong tape indeed there. Although, volumes are a little bit light relative to the 30-day average, about 8% below the average there. So we'd like to see a bit more volume on the upside there. But we have seen really good participation. 76% of stocks are higher on the day. Tech's had a flyer. Service names have done well. Financials have done very nicely on the session. We've got the XLF over 1% higher. The KRE on the regional side about 80 basis points higher. Now, obviously, there's a big focus on the SLOOS report, the Senior Loan Officers Survey, but it hasn't really moved the dial in any capacity. We just saw 15.6% of banks reporting tighter lending conditions. But the way the banks have traded, they're not really too concerned by what we've been seeing here. But certainly tech firing up on the day. The Nasdaq's had a gain in the cash of 1.1%. Certainly these markets look like they want to go higher. It looks like the Nasdaq wants to revisit those highs of around sort of 18,400 in the short term. But yeah, strong moves coming through in super micro. That's up 6.1%. We're eyeing those $900 levels that we saw a while back. The Meta was up 3% as well. It looked like we're trying to close that gap into sort of 480, 458. Nvidia, obviously a crowd favourite, up nearly 4% as well. We're trading 921. Can we push into 975? Obviously, momentum favours the bold on that stock there as well. Another stock that we've seen good business in and good interest to trade has been Amazon. That stock's up 1.3%. Obviously, coming off the back of their earnings, but that stock's looking pretty strong at the moment. And also Tesla, while the daily chart still looks a bit unconvincing, that stock's up 2% on the day there, what we've been seeing. Now, if we have a look at the rates market, there hasn't really been a huge move playing through. We have seen commentary coming from Thomas Barkin on the Fed side and also John Williams, but we've got about 46 basis points of cuts still being priced in by the end of the year. Not really too much really being moved in the sort of shorter term tenors. September's pricing about 21 basis points of cut for that meeting. Fixed income in terms of treasuries, well, we've got two-year treasuries up 1 basis point, so pretty tepid moves. Mirroring what we've saw from the rates market. 10-year treasuries are down 2 basis points at 483. So we've seen yields down about 12 basis points over the last 5 days. So there does seem to be a bit of a momentum building for the buyers playing through there. And real rates are pretty stable playing through. We've got 5-year real rates trading at 213 at the moment. So pretty stable moves coming through in the fixed income market. Obviously, all eyes now coming into next week where the CPI will be the big one there playing through. We're seeing some geopolitical headlines playing through with talk about a potential truce. That was then later walked away by Israel, who said the conditions are not quite there at the moment. We did see crude trade up to 79.09. It pulled back to 72.91, and we just settled up about 80 basis points in front month crude, 78.71. So a little bit of upside playing through in the crude market and also in the gold market as well. We've got gold up 1%, 23.32. We want to see a bit more of a move into sort of 23.52 and a push through there for momentum longs to start shifting their positions to a more bullish structure. Where we are seeing some good buying is in that silver market up over 3%. So that's a positive development playing through. And also Nat Gas looks like it wants to start bull trending as well. That's up 2%. FX markets, well, the yen has been on an absolute flyer, as everyone knows. That's kicked back a little bit recently in the overnight session. We've seen dollar yen push into 154. Bit of sellers playing through into the figure there. We've seen some life playing through into some of the LATAM currencies, into the high beta names, and also the high yielding plays. So the Mexican pesos had a good gain. The Chilean pesos worked quite well. All eyes obviously on the Aussie dollar as we go into the session ahead. We've got the RBA meeting at 2:30. We've got 3 basis points of hikes being priced into the meeting today. So obviously very low chance that they're going to be looking to hike, but it's just a little residual hedging playing through. So about a 12% chance they hike today. It doesn't seem like it's infitting that we're going to see a hike today, but certainly if we have a look at the August pricing, we've got about 50% chance of a hike playing through there. So obviously the market is anticipating that the door opens a little bit and a roadmap will be displayed to the market that they could be looking to raise rates into that meeting. So they will make it pretty clear how that looks like, and the statement needs to reflect that pricing, or there's going to be some downside in the Aussie dollar. So do have a look at those Aussie dollar exposures as we go through. The market is opening a door to hikes for the August meeting once we get another 3 employment numbers coming through and 2 monthly CPI prints, and of course on the 31st of July the Q2 numbers there as well. So Aussie dollar firmly in focus. Will they open the door sufficient enough to match that market pricing? Something we're watching very closely.